All right, I think I'm streaming. I think I'm live. Okay. So you'll be catching this on the replay because I'm streaming this as unlisted just to get out what it is I feel I want to say, because I read a few things tonight that really kind of upset me, but I'm going to just basically use one thing I read tonight as kind of an outline to express my upset, I guess. You can say I'm triggered. Sure. I'll say I'm triggered. But I was reading the comments underneath one of Veda's videos, and I honestly, I don't care if people like Veda or not. I don't care if people sing her praises or not, or criticize her or not. I don't care. But it's the sense of entitlement that people feel that they have here over anyone on YouTube. It's kind of maddening to me, anyways. It's crazy, if you ask me. And you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and start reading them and show you what it is I mean. So, okay. Just cancel. All right, so I'm not going to say who left the comment or whatever. I don't care who left the comment. That's not the point. I'm not going to call any attention to the person or even the video that was left under. None of that matters. The only thing that matters to me is the content within this comment. Anyway, so here we are. So they say, I stopped at your video to see what you were going to say about Molly Golightly. 10 minutes in, I realized that you were a new channel trying to grow by taking sides with the worst of the worst humans on this planet. Now, come on, can we refrain from the hyperbole here? Because that's a little ridiculous. But, yeah. Whatever. She wasn't taking sides. She was pointing out some things that were done nefariously, deviously, and in a manipulative manner. You can even say that it's her opinion, but she presented evidence to support her claims, and then she gave her opinion. Fine, you can criticize her opinion. Do whatever you want there. But yeah, siding with the worst of the worst humans on this planet. Pretty sure there's a hell of a lot of worse humans out there than Molly Golightly. Your naivete and ignorance has already ruined your reputation. She may be a little naive, but I mean, she's young though still. You know, give her some time. And aren't we all kind of ignorant? Because, I mean, it means misinformed or not informed. I know that definitely qualifies me as ignorant. Anyway, there are so many horrible things Molly Golightly and Bullhorn Betty have done that it's disturbing to see another channel coming up and supporting the vengeance. Oh, wait a minute. Something just dawned on me. You called her a new channel, that one sentence, and then you said that her reputation's already been ruined. What reputation if she's a new channel? Anyway, what they have done, it's disturbing to see another channel coming up and supporting the vengeance of these two very bitter women. Because you don't at all come across as very bitter here, right? Or vengeful, even. So, I mean, you know, let that person without glass houses cast the first stone or some shit like that, you know, whatever. Let me just clarify for you a few facts. This ought to be interesting. I fully agree with that. I'm sure that there are more than 20 people out there who dislike these two. Sure. You call them haters. You just call them haters, though, too. Like, you just fully agreed with them being called haters. Did you not? I have the right camera on, right? Yeah, I do. Okay. So, did you not just fully agree with them being called haters? I mean, okay. You call them haters, but in reality, what we are is criticizing the constant lies and damage these two cause. Why don't you try pointing out the damage they cause and try to help those damaged rather than just bitching about it? But that's my critiquing you, I guess. Anyway. And I think that your opinion there is also subjective. You may be right. I don't know. But it's still an opinion. People criticize them for good reason. Maybe. I'll at least agree, too, that the people who criticize them, they at least believe they have good reason to do so. So, yeah, all right. When two people sit behind their computer and plan on how to get vengeance on people that show the proof that they are lying, they are called haters. Okay. See, this comes across as awfully hateful to me, so I'm wondering who did that to you. That's what I'm wondering. The amount of decent people that are not going to sit and let these two call and threaten people. Well, good, you shouldn't. Dox people, you shouldn't. And their children's names to get vengeance for showing the truth. Okay, you just described like every channel in this community. And let me just say that my opinion of this community, it's not drama. It's not even true crime. I'm going to nickname this kind of like the hateful community, because that's all any of these channels do is just try to tear down the other channel, try to get them arrested, try to get them sued for defamation, try to get them canceled, try to just destroy them. I mean, this is literally the fucking hateful community. And this amazes me. Like, I've been listening for the past couple of days to these channels wanting to sue these other channels in civil court for defamation, hiring private investigators, trying to get them arrested or charged, or bringing up criminal histories and shit like that. Which, don't get me wrong, if you have a past and it's known, you gotta expect it to get out there. Get over yourself. That's my opinion on that. I don't even care that people are revealing publicly available information. I don't even care about that. But what amazes me, though, is that so many of these people on these channels, or behind many of these channels, they do have these public information gotten pasts with law enforcement. And yet here they are trying to encourage law enforcement or court, even civil or criminal, back into their lives. Like, I don't have a criminal history. I'll be honest, I don't. And I know better than to fucking welcome any of that shit into my life, because I know that shit can just turn on you at any point in time for any reason, and you won't even see it coming. Like, I love how people say, oh, I don't care if the cops search my car or whatever, I got nothing to hide. Yeah, the fool who says that is the fool who thinks they know what they're going to be looking for, because you don't. And that's how a lot of people find, or learn the hard way, rather, that, yeah, I think it's the Fourth Amendment, maybe, I think that's one, that it matters. Anyway, moving on. Causing people to lose jobs as payback is not acceptable by society, online or in real life. I do agree that shouldn't be acceptable, but it kind of is, because everyone's fucking doing it. Come on. It has to be acceptable. I mean, you can sit there and say, oh, well, I have a reason to do it. Well, everyone thinks that they have a reason to do it. So if you accept yourself doing it, then you accept other people doing it. That's my opinion on it. But in response, though, because as this goes on, it says, Ashley Furniture was 100% these two idiots causing scene to get content or whatever. Though I agree, they may have seen an opportunity in their current situation to obtain content or whatever. Sure, I agree with that. But they did not cause that woman to get fired. Because I guarantee you, as someone who's worked in customer service the majority of my life, there will always be a Molly. There will always be a Bullhorn Betty that comes in there. Like once a week on average, probably. Especially in a furniture store. I'm going to say once a week. So you can't sit here and say, well, she only got fired because they pushed her to that point. No, because I guarantee you that employee has been pushed to that point before and would have been again. Where she fucked up, though, this time is that it was on camera. It was caught on camera. And the second she came out from behind the desk to get in Molly's face, that was confrontational, that was intimidating, and that was not a good look for the company. And they would not have dealt with that. I would have loved to have seen her not get fired. I would have loved to have seen the company work with her or something. But they're not going to do that, because at that point, she's a liability. Ask anyone who's been any kind of manager or whatever in customer service. Show them that video and ask them, what would you have done? What would you have done with that employee? And I guarantee you they all would have said they would have fired her. And you can't blame Molly for how someone chooses to react. You can't. If you think these two did not bully that girl all day before turning the camera on, you're not gonna make it far in life. Really? Her ability to make it far in life is contingent on whether or not she believes the same as you here. Okay, that's an awful lot of faith you're putting in yourself, I think. But way not to blow this out of proportion or anything, Like, this is just, you can sit there and say, reasonably, like, if you don't see it as that way, well, then you are just, I don't know, something other than having her the rest of her life rely on this decision. That's crazy. That's a bit obscene, I think. Everything these two have done made channel off of misinformation lies is very close to ending badly for these people. Really? Badly? How so? Because it sounds like you might be kind of read into something there, privy to some information that kind of comes off as threatening and ominous. I'm just being honest. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm guessing it's not. But it definitely sounds that way. So, alright, so there are two sides here. Let's talk about Bullhorn Betty insisting these two, insisting that the legal documents that prove she is a scam, does not have a paralegal degree, never worked for any criminal attorney. I don't know what that sentence means, but okay. I don't know if she has. I don't know if she has. I don't know what's been put forward. I don't really care. Whatever. Everything she has ever done was illegal, and she knowingly knew she was working with illegal scams. I don't know what you're talking about. I assume if they were illegal, then and she knowingly knew this, and it's this obvious to just viewers on YouTube, then it's got to be that obvious to law enforcement, right? So surely she's been at least charged or arrested, if not convicted, right? Otherwise, if not, then yeah, this is just your opinion, and all opinions are subjective. So yeah. Yet she still sits there and calls people haters and liars because the proof that she's a fraud has been coming out. She can call people liars and haters if she wants. Like, isn't that what you're kind of calling these people? So, yeah. It's there. It's undeniable proof that she's been scamming her supporters from day one. Sure, okay, what's this proof? How do you figure? I'm sure if this is a scam in the legal sense, then surely law enforcement's involved, right? If not, you're just starting rumors. And it's not undeniable. Molly Golightly is same way. Okay. You, Vada, are just another troublemaker pushing for these pieces of shit group of people to keep doing what they're doing. Wow. Because did we watch the same videos here? Because all I saw Vada do was just point out some inconsistencies in some of the accusations being hurled at Molly Golightly here. And she came with receipts backing up her, what led her to these conclusions. So you can disagree with her all you want, but it's undeniable that she came with receipts anyways. And she's only talking about a few instances within this one situation. This isn't about all things that Molly Golightly and Betty have done, and she is here supporting it all. Like, why is it got to be all or nothing? It's like you're either with us or against us. How about neither? How about it's not about you? The two sides here are as follows. Oh, do tell. Group one is the people that have built their channels on lies and misinformation. Oh my God. I've heard that statement said time and time again on Nonsense's channel. Ever see Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, where like once every season he does this skit where he pulls in these recordings from news shows like all across the country, like maybe one in California, one in Alaska, one in New Mexico, one in Oswego, New York, and he mashes them up together. And the person talking is saying the exact same tag phrase, verbatim. Okay, this is what you sound like right here. You sound like one of those recordings. Claiming to be something they are not. How do you know they're not? And, people claim to be something that they're not all the time. Like, Katie Joy claims to be a journalist. Oh, okay. Preying on ignorance and naive people to believe whatever bullshit they spew. Well, you can have that opinion, sure. You can have the opinion that that's what they're doing or that they spew bullshit, whatever. You're entitled to that opinion. Threatening people and getting them fired from jobs because they call out their lies and scams is not okay. I would agree with that. Who have they done that to, though? And not for nothing, which one of these channels hasn't done that, really? So many of these fucking channels on YouTube have done that. And not that it's excusable or that makes it okay. Hell no. Just pointing that out. Nothing they do is acceptable in society. Well, apparently it is, because it's not illegal in society, right? So if it's not illegal, it has to be acceptable to some in society if it's not illegal. Like, none of us really agree with murder, except for in special circumstances like self-defense. And even that's, iffy. Sure, society agrees with that. Therefore, it's a law. This is just opinions, though. Side 2 is the people with common sense and refuse to watch these fraud and scams destroy what the true crime community really is. Like I said before, this ain't the true crime community anymore if this is what people are doing to one another. This is the hateful community. There ain't nothing true, nothing crime about it. Let's be honest here. I love how, like, side 1 though is all bad and side 2 is all the good. It's like that nursery rhyme or something my mom used to say, like, girls are made of sugar and spice and everything nice, and boys are made of frogs something tails or puppy dog tails or something. You know what I mean? Like, all good on one side, all bad on the other. Like, we're all humans. Ain't none of us righteous. Nah. You're just as guilty as everyone else here. We all are. We all are doing a lot of the same shit, and we shouldn't be. You're right, though. And you can sit there and say you're not a content creator and you haven't done this on your channel. That may be true, but I'm willing to bet that there's been times that you as a viewer have sat behind your keyboard kind of doing the same shit in the shadows, because you seem awfully invested in this, judging by the length of this comment. Anyway. We are smart enough to look at the undeniable truth. Facts. If it was undeniable, truthful, and factual, you wouldn't have to write that in all caps, right? It'd be speaking for itself. And know that these people are disgusting. Again, subjective. Sure, you may think they're disgusting, but obviously there's a hell of a lot of people, I'm going to say like 80-something thousand people who follow Molly who don't find her disgusting. So who are you to take that away from that 80-something thousand? Who are you to tell Vada she can't also enjoy Molly's channel? Who are you to suggest and what her content should be on her channel? Who are you to try to bully her? You are not some entitled viewer here where you get to dictate or you get to weaponize anyone's channel to act and to behave the way that suits you or that serves your need for internal vengeance or whatever. You don't get to do that. You don't. And it's kind of twisted that you think you should. Oh shit. Yeah, we're gonna have to wrap this up, I think. And know that these people are disgusting. And when they are called out, they make a revenge plan. Not acceptable and not okay. This sounds very revengeful to me. You leaving this comment, trying to convince and coax everyone to be against what you have an issue with. If that's not the definition of vengeful, I don't know what the fuck is. The facts, the proof that these two are horrible people. Again, it's an opinion. Yet you totally disregard what's indisputable. You've shown nothing to convince me. You've shown nothing to Vada that's indisputable. Everything you're providing here is just your opinion and your verbiage. That's completely disputable. If you want her to buy into these indisputable truth and facts, then you need to fucking present them to her, right? What's indisputable shows what kind of person you are. Yes, she's the kind of person who doesn't just go by word of mouth of strangers on YouTube. Oh my God, what a bitch. You will fail miserably with this channel. Maybe. What do you care? I notice, do you even have a channel? Like, have you even gone out there and put yourself out there at all and tried this? Nah, it's just, why would you do that when it's easier to just sit back and hurl insults at those who do? All right, I digress. All right, so this one's almost over. Go to 3. You seem to be a fan. Seem to be a fangirl that needs desperately to be accepted by these frauds. Really? How so? because I'm going to be of the argument that the fact that she's done something on her channel that has upset people to this regard, to this level, to the point where you're leaving messages this long and like this on her channel, then I'm going to say that she has no kind of desperate need to be accepted by anyone. And again, she's not supporting she's not supporting all that these two have done, or their entirety, their existence on social media. She's just pointing out the inconsistencies she's seen with this one situation in a few areas. Why is that so triggering to you? You would be much better off if you would seek therapy for you needing to be accepted by these morons. You, I think, really need to take your own advice, because this message is not at all screaming to me someone who's mentally healthy. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to insult you, but there's definitely something going on here. I'm not qualified to make any kind of diagnosis, so I'm not going to, but there's definitely something going on here. I'm just going to say. Needing acceptance by these clowns on YouTube that have disgraced the entire community. This is disgraceful right now here to the community. Well, unless you're representing the hateful community, then I'd say it's right on par. Disgrace the entire community. Needs help from a therapist. Again, take your own advice. It's crazy. No, I'm not a hater. No, you don't at all hate. There's none of this. Nothing from this screams hater, right? The fact that you needed to clarify that tells me that you kind of feel like and think you are. I'm a mother that's scared for the future of my kids because of the way people act. And there we go. There we go. One of the main tenets of the entitled fucking person on YouTube. Using your kids as a weapon. Or as a shield even to hide behind. And why you're hurling out this such hateful rhetoric at a stranger on YouTube. Because they have the nerve to think differently of you. This is the most entitled fucking thing I've ever seen. And I see it all the time here on YouTube. Everyone's using their kids. Everyone. I have no doubt that I once upon a time did this on social media. I don't. My kids are no longer younger though, so it's kind of, I don't know. They kind of know what world we live in. But yeah. Like if your kids are not being mentioned, or if it's not relevant at all, and you go ahead and you drop your kids in a situation or conversation, you're using them. You're exploiting their very existence. And it's because you don't have the balls to stand by your words on their own merit. You need to hide behind some justified, self-righteous reason for you to be stating these things. When in actuality, you're doing it just because you're fucking being hateful. Come on, let's be honest. Anyway. Calling CPS on people that have no reason to have CPS called just to get vengeance on those exposing their lies is the absolute lowest a human can go. Sure, I can agree with that. The thing is, though, is just because you deem that someone has done this doesn't mean that they've done it. There needs to be proof. Because the same can be said against you, against people who align with you. Because it seems like everyone is claiming anyways to have been getting these calls. Well, if it's true for one side, then it's got to be true for the other. Just saying. I don't doubt that it is at times true on both sides. I don't doubt that, but I also have my doubts on other times. There's nothing lower. And leaving threats on people's phones, laughing about it, is 100% in its way back to smack the fuck out of it. That sentence doesn't make sense, but I'm going to try to interpret what it is you're saying. So there, and leaving threats on people's phones, laughing about it, is 100%. I can't decipher that. I have no idea what you're trying to say with the rest of that. But leaving threats, laughing. What threats? Because if there are threatening things left on people's cell phones, well then maybe we should discuss the threat in particular and who left the threat. Let's do that rather than generalizing, because I don't think that's a generalized statement. But I'm going to say that it's far more likely to happen when people start displaying phone numbers up on screen, which wasn't Vada's number just recently shown up on a stream? Who did that again? Yeah. There is nothing they can do or say now to stop what they have brought on themselves. Really? So there's no room for redemption here in your book? Like, you're past that. Like, what if they came out and said, oh my God, we're so sorry, you're so right, we were such assholes. That's it? No go? That's not going to happen because, I mean, again, subjectiveness. But, yeah. Nice to see you already made up your mind. It's almost like you don't even care about people changing or behaving better or treating others better or the harm or this damage to cease being created. Nah, you don't care about that. Anyone, and I mean anyone, supporting this trash, you need help. Help for either being ignorant or for knowingly supporting those trash because you're just like them. You notice how these people who you claim are trash are not leaving these types of messages on other people's channels. Yeah. That tells me that these people who are so trashful are not that trashful. Help for, okay, all right. In the end, the truth is the truth, and those still denying the cold, hard, documented facts will be forever struggling in life because everyone else's life from here on out, whether it be online or off, is contingent on how they handle this situation with Molly Golightly on YouTube. You're insane. You can't be this stupid or this naive. You just said that she was, like several times, like a couple times now. So, I mean, make up your mind. And make it in life. Well, apparently you can. Just saying. You deserve to be scammed. Oh, now people deserve the crimes that you allege are being committed to them. They're deserving. That sounds like you're victim blaming or shaming. Like, I mean, do you tell people who wear skirts that you deem are too short, well, you deserve whatever comes your way? Because that's what it sounds like to me. But calling the people that refuse to ignore the proof that you're being scammed is complete ignorance on your part. But calling the people that what do you mean who is she calling? There are 1,000 times more people that are not going to sit back and allow these piece of shit beings keep scamming people than there are people supporting these channels. Bullshit. That's, boy, you're in for a rude awakening. You are the minority against those of us that are not okay with people that act, say, and do what these people do. Yeah, no, fam. You're the minority here. You are such a minority here. I do think that there's more than 20 of you, though. Sure. Of course, I almost made it through this video. Oh, there we go. Okay. The masses of people that are against the disgusting behavior of these individuals will stomp out the tiny group of trash that are the tragedy pimps. No, you won't. No, you fucking won't. First of all, these people aren't tragedy pimps any more than you are. Okay, any more than Nonsense is. In fact, Nonsense is like such a tragedy pimp that she's feeding off of other people's tragedy pimpiness. Okay, and here you are defending her doing that almost like, or talking as though you're one with her in these decisions. So let me tell you something. These tragedy pimps, as you put it, they've existed on YouTube, on social media, online, since the beginning of all of these things, okay? They've existed in the media. They've existed everywhere where there's any kind of broadcast. And they're not gone. They're not going away. In fact, they're even bigger in numbers than ever. So, the delusion of grandeur to think that you and your self-righteousness could have any kind of effect on the whole of society when it comes to the desire to hear about crime or gossip or unsavory facts and events. Like, you can't stop that. People want to talk about it. People want to hear about it. You're never going to stop that. So I don't know what to tell you, but anyway. Yes. Question. I don't know what that means. What are you asking yes to? They exploit victims for content and money. The only way in which it could be exploitation of the victims is to reveal and expose parts about the victims and or crimes that are not already out there or public knowledge or publicly accessible or whatever, and doing so for money. That could be exploitation. But just simply talking about the things that are already public knowledge or already out there on Facebook Lives by someone, or put out there by Katie Joy in the form of a police report, talking about that is not exploitation. It's just not. You just don't like it. I'm sorry. Don't watch. They care nothing for victims. Well, let me tell you something, because you can't pick the Vic, okay? You want to talk about and be an advocate for victims. You have to accept the fact that there will be some victims that you will not deem worthy or pure or whatever or perfect. And you trying to victimize other people as a form of victim advocacy is fucking twisted. You don't get to pick the Vic. You're either protective and advocating for victims, or you're not. And right now you're not. They have no education in law, true. Nor are they media. Sure, I can agree with that. Although they are social media. They're social media. They may not be media in the term of like mainstream media when you think of it like that in the traditional sense, but they're definitely social media. Oh yeah, absolutely. So I guess whether or not they're media, all the terms is contingent on what it is you define media as. Again, subjective. But yeah, no, they have no education law. At least to my knowledge, they don't. But I'm not sure that you really need a law education to commentate on human behavior. Just saying. When the real media community sends Bullhorn Betty a letter stating that she would never be allowed in their community and to destroy her fake press pass, but yet she still claims to be media, shows the ignorance running through her veins. What are you talking about? First of all, press pass is not like, it's not distributed by like a central organization among journalists. Anyone can make themselves a press pass. It's ridiculous. So I have a hard time believing that there's some journalistic entity or whatever out there, media entity, that said, listen, you can't make your press pass or whatever because we don't like it. We don't think you should have it. Even though it's not, because unless she's trying to insinuate or trying to pass it off as, hey, look at what CBS gave me, and CBS is like, nah, don't do that. Unless it's happening like that, no fucking agency would write her about that. Like, what are you talking about? I feel like you're leaving a bit out there information-wise. She's a nasty, vile, blasphemous fraud. Blasphemous. When did religion become involved here? Why is blasphemy a thing? Is YouTube is YouTube like non-secular or something? Like, is YouTube now a Christian representative organization? Why does blasphemy matter? Oh my God. See what I mean by self-righteousness? Don't push your fucking faith on us. Don't. Because the more you try that, boy, you find shit that she says to be blasphemous. You just wait. Blasphemous fraud. And you are the idiots behind her. Again, this is all opinion and subjective. What? Why do you care so much? Why are you so intent on turning so many content creators against Betty, against Molly? Why are you so invested in this? Like, oh my God. What do you do in your real life when someone disagrees with you? Holy shit. I'm betting you might be divorced. All right, I'm being petty now. I agree. He has, I don't know who he is, but okay. He has a longer criminal record than anyone she targets. Ask her why Christy Gonclaves, why she changed her mind about giving Bullhorn Betty that big interview. Okay. What does that have to do with anything here, though? It's because Christy was sent 44 legal, undeniable charges that Bullhorn Betty has. Okay. And Christy Wood, that was well within Christy's right to do that. What's the point? That doesn't mean Bullhorn Betty doesn't have a right to have a YouTube channel now, does it? No, it doesn't. You're not entitled to make that decision for anyone. You're not. You're not entitled to say to any of us as viewers what we're allowed to choose from to watch. You're not entitled to tell other people who they're allowed to support, like, or watch. You're not entitled. You're no one, just like the rest of us. Most are felonies. Who cares? Who the fuck cares? I don't care. What do you care? Then she was sent other info that made her decide against giving Bullhorn Betty a chance to exploit her child. Okay, so let me get this straight. It wasn't the 44 charges or the felonies that caused her to change her mind. It was this other info that made her decide against having done that. Jesus, this other info must be worse than the felonies. What the hell was that? It's a rhetorical question, really. I, however, forgot to mention that Olivia was the same way. Then Olivia turns around and proves that she is one and the same as Bullhorn Betty. Poor girl, head is full of air. Wow. Why are you so hateful against these other people on YouTube? Are you seeing yourself in them? Is that it? I don't. This is awfully hateful, though. Like, I can't imagine being this miserable, spiteful, and angry. I was so embarrassed for her when she did that interview. You know, the one where she sounded like a beauty pageant contestant that has no brain. Wow. Let me tell you something, because as someone who has a cousin who is young Miss something for one of the states around, I'm not going to say which one, who is quite intelligent herself, but who also was raised by a very intelligent person, my cousin. Well, actually, I guess this is my second cousin I'm talking about, but whatever. The mother's the cousin. Is someone who has this kind of just experience or what, exposure to beauty contestants and has seen them to be quite intelligent. And I imagine that goes across the board. That is quite the insult. Why? What do you have against beauty contestants? Why is it you don't think that they can be intelligent? Huh? Because I'll tell you right now, I bet that a shit ton of them are way more intelligent than you. And I bet that they can even have a little bit of thicker skin and they don't have to be so consumed and so worried about what everyone else is doing. They're just worried about themselves and the image that they put out to the world because they don't want to cause harm themselves. Maybe try to model them a little bit. I don't know. The lack of self-awareness is mind-blowing. But girl, you came in just in time to watch evil get destroyed. Evil get destroyed. Why do you? Oh my God. This ain't a good or bad like war here. This is human behavior. This is just interacting in society. You can't squash behavior you deem bad because you ain't God, sis. If there were a God. Anyways. Good always wins in the end. Really? Huh. So, like, What about all the good people who are killed by serial killers every year? Are they winning in the end? What about the serial killers who get away with murder? Are they the good that's winning in the end? Like, are they good? Let me tell you something. There is no good or bad. Okay, there's fucked up, there's not, whatever it is you want, what word you want to apply to it. But there is no predesigned path for either. The universe is chaos with no rhyme or reason. Good always wins in the end, Jesus. It's like, have you even lived life, like, for real? If you don't learn a lesson now, your future will be very bleak and grim. Well, that sounds like you got something planned. I don't know. Not saying you do, just saying what it sounds like. Take it or leave it. Oh, that's right. That was the end. Okay. Your future would be very bleak and grim. I hope you get a backup plan. If not, you better get one. Wow. You are exactly what is wrong with social media, with YouTube. But here's the thing, though. You have every right to be that. You do have a right to say and do things online. You have a right to disagree. You have a right to critique. Hell, you even have a right to hate and insult. Because that's what you're doing. And you're doing it under the pretense or under the guise of for the greater good. That's blasphemous in actuality when you think about it. Who are you to determine what's good and bad here? Or who's good and bad? That's not your call. Like, we all have a right, if you want to go by the whole religious, tenet here, we all have a right to judge whether or not someone's an asshole. In fact, I would even argue that sometimes we have a responsibility to do that. But to determine whether or not someone is good, deserving, isn't that the very definition of judging, really? I mean, that's not your place. So the very act of thinking that it's your place, that in and of itself is blasphemous. Since you like that word so much. Anyway, I don't even remember your name. I don't care to remember your name. I don't care to look it up. I don't care. It's not the point. But I don't think that you're the only person who believes some or all of these things. What the fuck? I don't get it. I mean, I get the whole banter and the back and forth or whatever, and the arguing or the fighting, because that can be fun and exciting. But when you start going real life and bringing in like private investigators or calling the cops or threatening to sue or whatever, I mean, and obtaining past criminal records or some shit, like, what does that mean? What are you doing? What are you doing? Why? Because that ain't true crime. Hell, that ain't even drama. Like I said, that's just hatefulness. It's the hateful community. I, for one, don't really care to participate in this community much longer, but I am going to still dip my feet in the waters here and there because I still kind of take issue with nonsense telling the fucking lies that she tells. Oh, yeah. But this right here, this is what channels like Nonsense are creating. Our viewers leaving comments like this because of the way she's framing shit. Whatever, that's my opinion. You don't have to agree with it, but it's fucked up. It's this whole us versus them mentality. And here's the thing, I don't even hate Nonsense. I don't. I do think she has issues and she may want to kind of work on the whole truthfulness of the matter and why she's so invested in what people think about Dre or whatever. But like, I don't hate her. I don't care to learn about shit from her past and expose her or whatever. I don't care to get her phone number. I don't care to leave her a message. I don't care to really pay much attention or mind to her at all. Just when something comes across my way that I know for a fact is bullshit, will I put out something showing as such. And I have. Look at my community posts. There's a couple of them by now. And I'll continue to do that because she's full of shit. But that's it. I don't get all of this shit. It's crazy. I don't get it. Like, as much as I have talked shit about Katie, I have not tried to obtain any of her criminal history or whatever. Sure, you can bring up the whole R report thing, but she was defaming a police officer and outing him as that police officer on social media to potentially hundreds of thousands of people. And her local community was getting wind of it. That's why I did what I did. Anyway, but beyond that, I haven't tried to expose her. I haven't tried to cause her harm or anything. I haven't tried to sue her. I haven't tried to get her arrested or any shit like that. So you can say whatever you want about the shit I've talked about Katie, but I've known where the line was. I've known where if I start wanting to do this shit, I might be a little too invested in getting too carried away, and I might need to ask myself why the fuck I'm doing this and try to resolve whatever I'm missing within me, myself. Just an idea. Anyway, I'm done.